Hello and welcome everyone to Copy and Paste, the clean and family-friendly Reddit reading podcast. This is the 5th episode of r/AskReddit, where you can get professional advice. Don't forget, if you like this podcast, then it would be greatly appreciated for you to like and subscribe. Thank you for joining me. Okay, let's get started. The first question by an NSFW account is, what is perfectly legal but creepy as hell? This first one by Freezing Process. Hanging out in a public bathroom, timing how long people go to the toilet for. The second one by Wild for Woman. When I was a child, we had a creepy, horrible neighbor that would harass my family constantly. One of the things he did was stand at the corner of his yard and videotape me playing in a pool with my friends. We were around 8. My parents called the police, but they told that it's legal if he's on his property. Edit, this was US in 20 plus years ago, so laws might be different by now. The third post by JP Resley. Technically, you can stand on the sidewalk and stare into somebody's house through a window. It's not illegal as long as you stay off their property, but it's really bloody creepy. The fourth post by Ravens and Seagulls. My dad is currently in an injury case against his old job. There's been a car outside his house filming him for the last couple of months, trying to catch him doing some compromising things to disprove his injuries. That's very creepy. The fifth post by Mo95Z. Sitting next to someone at a public transport, even when there are other seats available. The sixth post by The Flaming Cerberus. I believe the act of cannibal itself is legal, so as long he didn't murder anyone to do it. If your homie gives you his arm to no one, it's fair game. Now for the reply of post 6, you might want to skip 20 seconds if you're mentally squeamish, but it's posted by the dude 2600. Some dude lost his foot in an accident and somehow was allowed to bring it home after it was amputated. The dude fried it up and invited his friends over, and they ate foot tacos. The seventh post by Metatron Fallen. Paparazzi. The second question by Pro Psycho. You'll receive $1 million if you can survive 24 hours in a game. Which game do you choose? Firstly, my response, I'd probably pick a game like Mario Kart or Need for Speed. It just seems fun. You can race around for 24 hours and not die. However, some crazy guy 1234 says Farm Simulator. Duh. Zero Dark Char 0 says Pokemon. Mona says Animal Crossing because yes. Sopu S says I'm gonna try something here. I choose The Quiet Game that my mum always wanted me to play on long car rides. The fifth post by Frank Indragula 473 says Monopoly. And H Cages replies to that, takes 24 hours anyway. The third question by user/UlyssesWatson says, what is one invention that you are 100% sure was only invented to annoy you? The first response by Ona Honig says, fake mobile ads. The second post by Watching in Silence says, bloatware that takes up 2 gigabytes of space on what is advertised as a 16 gigabyte phone and adds more with each update. I put in a 128 gigabyte micro SD card for things like music, pictures, and video, but there's only enough space for a few apps at a time. The third response by Anti-Hegemon says car alarms. It's now just assumed it's a false alarm. Worst anti-theft device ever. Lobby Bobo replies to that. Yeah, if I saw someone digging through a car with the alarm going off, I would just assume it's their car and they can't get it to shut off. The fourth post by Illeta Sight says, pop-up ads. And then Schlam16 replies, obligatory. The guy who invented them apologized. Yeah, he did apologize. Also obligatory. Also obligatory. Unblock exists. What, uBlock exists? Yeah, but ad blockers suck because recaptures don't work. The 5th post by Vinny876 says, automatic hand dryers. Switch off every 2 seconds while you try to dry your hands. Don't run for 10 seconds when you walk away. The 6th post by RDSRDS2120, dumb password restrictions that only make passwords less secure. The 7th post by HypnoCaneToad says, telemarketers. The 4th question by an NSFW account, you got 10 minutes to hide a pen from a detective. If he doesn't find it, you get $1 million. Where'd he hide it? The first response by Warm Marshmallow Toast, I'll just write something with a pen and drop it from my desk. It'll go to some different dimension, like they all do. The second response by Wrighton2, do I have to be able to find it again? I live 5 minutes from the ocean, so I just paddle out for 5 minutes and chuck it as far as I can. The third response by Garbage Man, I'd poke it into my lawn. The 4th post by Brother Aaron says, I'll give it to the kid who asked to borrow my Game Boy in 4th grade and then bloody hopped on a plane and moved back to the Philippines with his family that same night, unbeknownst to anyone in class. That just seems like a personal grudge. The 5th post by SnapCracklePop26 says, drill a hole in the top of one of my doors, a solid door, and drop the pen down it. That's actually very genius. The 6th post by JohnnyReadout.com, tie it onto a helium balloon. The 5th question by TheOmnipotentKoi says, non-Americans have read it. What's something someone can say that indirectly screams, I'm an American? The first post by an NSFW account, quote unquote, the college experience. The second post by Spoogenho says, month, days, and years. I keep thinking 9/11 happened on the 9th of November because of that. Same, it's so annoying that they do month, dates, years. Like, they make zero sense. You should start with the smallest, end with the largest. It just makes sense. The third post by Agent Kada said, it was 90 degrees outside. I hope that's a reasonable number. It's so true, 90 degrees, just melt alive. Same with gallons and square feet. 900 square feet? Is it a palace? Is it a broom closet? I never know. The 4th post by I Like Chili Sauce. When asked where they're from, Australian, I'm from Australia. British, I'm from UK. Indian, I'm from India. Chinese, I'm from China. American, I'm from Wisconsin. The 5th post by Flame2454. Why didn't you leave a tip? The 6th post by Ulysses. I was taking a walking tour in England once and the guide mentioned Notre Dame for some reason. The American guy tried to correct her pronunciation as Notre Dame, not Notre Dame. It was a widely uncomfortable few minutes. Yeah, I don't even know how to pronounce it. Notre Dame? Notre Dame? Like, it's confusing. The 7th post by Godstevsky. Depends on what state you're in. The last question by an NSFW account. What makes you the happiest? What gives you genuine happiness? Pennywise626 says, seeing people enjoy food that I cooked, especially seeing my fiancée smile when she eats my from-scratch chocolate chip cookies. Relative question 731 says, I think maybe the only time I say I'm ever genuinely happy when I'm in that state of going to sleep, where I think, but at the same time I'm neither asleep nor awake. It feels like I'm entirely detached from the physical world, free of fear and pain. The third response by GlassTeeth01, watching my cat get stuck somewhere stupid, then yelling for help. The best place so far was in a cabinet over the stove. The 4th post by LuciferVX says, being outside with no people around. Live in a city and I get up super early and just walk around before everyone else is out. Best part of my day. The 5th response by Weekly Resolution 237 says, it's difficult to tell the difference between genuine happiness and enough distraction. Food, like video games or playing the piano, makes me joyful when I'm eating it. I believe that the things that make me truly happy are the ones that happen infrequently, if at all, and are beyond of my control, such as being complimented or receiving physical contact. The sixth response by Sean 081799. I'm a musician and amateur producer. Hearing a completed project for the first time is a magical experience. The seventh response by Unknown404 Yep says, when I manage to make my friend's day by making them laugh, I honestly get so happy when they're happy. The eighth response by Shibat Inu, spending time with animals. I volunteered at our local shelter for 2 years, and when there was no more work to be done for that day, I'd just hang around with all kinds of animals. It made me fall in love with dogs and birds all over again. The ninth response by Sponge Bubble, trying new things, especially with friends. Other day, I did go-karting for the first time. Also the first time I drove. I felt super excited. And unfortunately, that was it for today. If you enjoyed this podcast, I would greatly appreciate for you to like and subscribe. To listen to this podcast on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, or one of my mail platforms, or to visit any of my socials, click the link in the description. And please feel free to send me an audio message or leave a comment. It's been a pleasure. Goodbye!